It's going to be a very, very tough night, Paul. This is now the top level. This is where we wanted to be. We did very well in League B to get promoted in the Nations League, and this is now the European qualifiers. We're in a group, as I said, with France, England, and don't forget Sweden as well. It's going to be very, very, very difficult, Paul, on Friday night. If we look at, we're going to have much less of the ball than we had, say, in the Nations League campaign. And I wonder bit of a worry, Paul, that you might have noticed in the game against Wales. Wales had played higher quality opposition. They were in League 8. Now, they did get relegated, but you could tell that Wales had played at a higher level than we had. It was just the passing was a bit crisper. And I don't know what it is, Paul, but they had Ireland on the rack, particularly in the first half. They went 2-0 up. They easily could have got 3 or 4 because straight after the second goal, Wales created a number of other chances. And Ireland looked a bit disorganised, Paul. They couldn't get out at their own half for much of that first half once Wales scored. They didn't really create any. Now, in the second half, they were a little bit better. But you could tell that Wales, although they were getting beaten in a lot of those games, I think they got a 0-0 draw, if I'm not mistaken, at home to Germany in the last game. Now, it might have been a dead rubber when they were relegated. Yeah. But you could tell that they had played at a higher quality of opposition than we had. We were playing the likes of Northern Ireland, and no disrespect to Northern Ireland or the teams that were in that group, but you could tell that Wales seemed to have a bit more between their teeth in terms of that game, and that's what I'm sort of afraid of. That we've played such low quality opposition compared to ourselves, because we're by far the better team in that group. I think we hardly think we can see less than 3 or 4 goals, or even less than that. Yeah. That this is going to be a huge step up now as well. Like, if we think Wales
how do you think they approached the game away from home against France? France got to the quarter-final of the World Cup, unlucky to lose out in the extra time or a penalty shootout, in a sudden-death penalty shootout. They beat Ireland well in a friendly game last year, but I wouldn't worry about that. And France, as I said, are preparing for the Olympics as well. And we do know in the women's soccer, the Olympics is just as strong as important as the World Cup. So France will have a full team out. They'll be at home. Should Ireland go and be cagey or just take the game in the merit? Or should it be very tight at the start and not to concede a goal early?
I think you put the nail on the head there, Paul. Don't concede a goal early to keep it tight for the first 15. I know it's a cliche, Paul, but these teams can get a run on you if you give them too much space and too much time. I know you said about the friendly. I know it's this is going to be a competitive game. But Ireland were very competitive for about 40 minutes of that friendly. It was when former manager Vera Prow was still in charge. We were very competitive against them. But once France upped the tempo in that game, and France got lucky enough first goal. But once they got that first goal, they got that bit of breathing space. Ireland had to come out a little bit more, and that left a bit of gaps at the back. And before we knew it, we were 2-0 down. And in the second half, Paul, they just rang rings around us. You could tell that France had a higher quality of opposition. They scored the third goal from a set piece, and I think it was more really France just sort of settling for 3-0, getting probably some of their best players off, giving the other players experience. It was a lesson, Paul. It was a footballing lesson, you could say, that we got, because once France got that breakthrough, they were free. They could express themselves a little bit more. We didn't have to take not more risks, but we had to sort of take the game a bit more to them, and they just played around us. So we have to, even though we did it for 40 minutes at home, away from home now it's going to be even more difficult. So if you want to know what I think will happen, I think it'll be possibly 2 or 3-1. I would say 3-1 would probably be the result, Paul. I just can't see us holding out for. I can see us holding out for some of the game, because I think we are defensively very good. I know Scotland's in the World Cup playoff game. We got ahead early, and we were able to defend it. And I know we went to Sweden as well in that game. We won 1-0 up, but Sweden missed a host of chances, hit the bar, hit the post. Courtney Brosnan made some great saves. They got a draw in the end. But I think it'd be a few Hail Mary moments, Paul, where they need a lot of luck, some great defending, and Courtney Brosnan is probably going to have a bit of a storm of a game for us to get any sensible results.
Could I use the comparison to like years ago in the English FA Cup, where you have a top flight team in the old first division of the Premiership playing a lower team league, or team and down the division? The underdogs, everything has to go right for them. They're going to have to play very well. And they're going to need the goalkeeper and the defender is going to be on form. They're going to need a bit of luck to get a result. Is that what Ireland are looking at, basically? We're going to go out there and battle and fight and try and frustrate France and I won't say play for a draw because that's you can't play for a draw.
Yeah.
But a draw would be a great result. But things are going to have to get our way. But we're going to have to work twice as hard, not make any silly mistakes, and maybe hope France maybe might be slightly off it. Would that what your thoughts on that?
I think that's it, Paul. I think like even if it was men's international, we'd be saying the same thing, Paul. It's not just because of women international, we'd be saying the same thing about the men's international. France away from home. France are one of the best teams in the world. In fact, I think 3 of the top 5 countries are in our group, Paul, in according to the world ranking. So we could not have got a harder group, but this is where we wanted to be. But you're right, the underdog like we are now at the moment. Look, are we capable of getting a draw? Look, we got one against Sweden, as I mentioned earlier on, but an awful lot of luck and an awful lot of good defending, good saves from Courtney Brosnan got us that draw in the end. Now, to be fair, Sweden only needed a point in that game to qualify for the World Cup anyway, so it's a little bit different. But we're going to need a lot of blocks. Now and when we get the ball, Paul, we're going to have to use it as well to release the pressure. We need maybe Kira Cruz to hold the ball up, buy a few free kicks, slow the tempo down. Like, because in the past, Paul, you see it in international football, see it in any type of football. They're underdog, taking all day with throw-ins, taking all day with free kicks, getting a free, roughing the team up with a few set pieces. That's and I wouldn't condone a bit of fouling or anything like that, but that's the sort of thing you have to do. You have to frustrate the opposition, particularly. And hopefully the home crowd will get on the team's back.
Sorry, Noel. And do we know what the game is on? Is it on a small venue or it's held on in the Stade de France? Or do you know?
No, I wouldn't say so. No. I'm not quite sure now exactly the stadium that it's going to be played in.
Probably a club ground, maybe a smaller. So that might be it. Yeah. So you would know how that works out with that. See, if the game was in Paris. We all know traditionally the real heart and soul of French would be out in the province in the south of France and the west of France and different things like that. Maybe because someone in Paris, the crowd might be kind of iffy. You know, the crowd would often it's well known in Paris. The home, I would call them the Paris crowd could turn on the French team very fast too. But I just don't know what the venue was on.
Yeah, I suppose we were open to correction on the venue, but I know for a fact that the game against England will be in the Aviva Stadium, so we'll hopefully have a good crowd for that game. But just as we're focused on the French game, look, it's everything has to go right for us, Paul. Needs to defend well. As I said, Courtney Brosnan needs to have a bit of a stormer, and when we get a chance, Paul, we're not going to get many chances. My God, we need to be clinical. We cannot miss any big chances in this game because we won't get many, Paul. You can count nearly in one hand how many chances, or even less. 1 or 2 chances at best, big chances about we're going to get great in this game, and we're going to have to take it. But
if France get a goal up and go 1-0 up, is it important then that we really dig in? As you said last year, we played in the friendly, they got 2 goals in the space of a couple of minutes. So even if France go 1-0 up, is the most important thing then is to dig in and hold it at 1-0, and maybe hope that you might nick a goal from a corner kick or a free kick later on, or even if you get beaten 1-0. And I'm not saying you're going to go to get beaten, but if you concede a goal, is that crucial in that you don't concede the second one? And the second part of the question, Noel, we saw in the World Cup, just before half time and just after half time, it seems to be very slack. So just your thought on them 2 issues before we move on.
We're just on the 1-0 first part. If it's early in the first half, we have to dig in and just get to half time. Now that's going to be very, 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 very difficult because, as you said yourself, if we go 2-0 up, then the game is good as over. We're not going to be able to get 2 goals. We might get 1, but certainly we're not going to get enough chances to get 2. That's just the way it is, Paul. We're playing a high caliber of opposition here in France, and we're not going to get many chances. That's just holding our hands up. So we get to half time, 1-0 down. If we can see it early, that would be pretty decent. Let's face it. Now, as you said yourself, the before and after half time, that was sort of nearly like a disease that the Irish team had in the World Cup. All conceding, I think it was against Canada on this. We conceded a very sloppy picture, and actually, unfortunately for Megan Connolly, the picture that we have over there, she unfortunately conceded an own goal. A bit unfortunate the way it was. It was like a couple minutes before half time, and straight after whatever that was said in the halftime team talk, obviously they were trying to implement it, but unfortunately they were caught out, and Canada, I think, scored literally about 2 or 3 minutes, if not 5 minutes after the second half started. So I just call them the championship minutes. That's when you need to be at your biggest concentration in every game. before and after half time, because that's when game plans, tactics might be changed a little bit, and you need to cop onto that. So it is so important that we don't give Aiton. The main thing is, Paul, we don't give France Aiton cheap.
Yeah.
You can understand if it's a brilliant goal, well worth goal. There's nothing that the keeper can do about it. If we give up sloppy goals, it's really disappointing because you haven't made the opposition work for those goals. You understand me? So I think I just can't. It'd be brilliant, Paul, if we get a result, but unfortunately, I just can't see it. I can see France winning 2-0 or 3-1. I think it will make a real game of it, Paul. But unfortunately, I just can't see us getting a result in France. Now, I might be wrong.
I suppose, before we run now, my only comment would is it'll be very interesting how much of the players learn the World Cup and that experience in matches with fair. And hopefully they have learned, because they play top teams in the World Cup and they've learned from it. They've an extra 2 or 3 players brought in. They've come through the English system, so that we know the English ladies team is world class. They're in the top, the very top layer of world class. They've come through a good system. There's a good few players now playing in the top flight in England, professionals. Obviously the manager has changed. Eileen Gleeson, she might bring in a little bit too. So that'll be very interesting. Yes, we're hoping for a draw. I have to agree with you. I think France are going to win this game. They're at home. They're one of the top teams in the world. They will expect to win it. I would say 2-0 to France. But even if Ireland get beaten 1 or 2-0, I'd be interested just to know how much of the players learned and improved and brought themselves out of the World Cup. Just your last word before we move on.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for, Paul. Because we're playing top quality opposition, and we gave up sloppy goals in the World Cup. The penalty when it wasn't necessarily in the Australian game, the penalty that we gave away wasn't really necessary because the person, I think the player that was fouled wasn't going anywhere really. I don't think she had much of a hope of getting the ball. And then, as you said, the game against Canada was the most disappointing. And also, Paul, I know many people might forget, but the game against Nigeria, we were actually playing very well in the first half, but by the second half, Nigeria were getting very big chances in that game. And as you said, they had a big chance just after half time as well. So that's something that we hope that we'll see and we'll learn from. Now, obviously in the Nations League, we sort of, I wouldn't say we got away with it, but we weren't tested as much in those games. And it's just whether we've learned from it. Obviously, the confidence is high. We're in good form, other than that friendly against Wales. And hopefully they'll have a really good performance and put in a really good shift. But as you said yourself, probably France are going to win this game. But that's no shame either, Paul, to be quite honest, because at the standard they are for the last couple of years, long time actually in women's football. That's no disgrace either.